the best staying mare of her generation. That description aptly fits Let's Elope, the mare from New Zealand who entered the Bart Cummings stable early in the spring of '91 without so much as a second glance. Despite a close second to champion filly Let's Score in New Zealand, nobody noticed the big mare when she first stepped out to race in Melbourne. Not even after this.
At the 300-metre mark, Shavano Miss under the whip in front by a length to Leggings Makeup Lady, and then Special Sculpture threading through near the inside from Let's Elope, Volcanic and Reno Bell, but Shavano Miss inside the 150, led by a length and a half to Makeup Lady. Reno Bell's finishing very quickly. Shavano Miss in front, Reno Bell flashing home, but didn't make it. Shavano Miss has won it by about a head to Reno Bell. Now Let's Elope or Makeup Lady for the minor end of the prize.
My first introduction was, I went down to Melbourne around about this time, end of August in that particular year, to arrive from New Zealand, and had a bit of a long coat and, you know, looked rather plain and backward, but it was a terrific constitution and a great appetite, and she did improve a great deal as time went on. So she had some little form in New Zealand, but she had a tremendous appetite and a tough constitution, and given a dry track she looked pretty impressive to me. How far she go was anyone's guess. You can only not put them in and try them, and as I said, the conditions given on that spring were dry and it suited her very well.
It was only going to take one more run before racegoers around the country would notice the Kiwi mare with the funny name. And what a run it was. She went into the Turnbull Stakes a place chance by virtue of the fact that Bart Cummings trained her. She emerged a different proposition.
He's kicked away Durbridge, he led by more than 2 lengths. Ivory Way has gone. Let's Elope's running on the outside very powerfully. 200 metres left to go. Durbridge in front with Let's Elope challenging strongly. Let's Elope bolted to the lead now from Durbridge, and then Prince Salieri and Rentino, but Let's Elope's racing away from them. Prince Salieri runs to second, but Let's Elope has scored by over 2 lengths.
Suddenly people were realising the maestro, Bart Cummings, might have another cup winner on his hands. But which cup? The bookies didn't bother asking. They elevated her to favouritism for the Caulfield Cup and close to the top of the list for the Flemington 2-miler. By the time they lined up at the Heath, Let's Elope was a clear Caulfield Cup favourite.
Prince Salieri first for home from Ivory Way, Dr. Grace in the centre, then Lord Revenue, Mantelpiece and Royal Creation from Let's Elope. Ivory Way in front, Dr. Grace coming at it, Royal Creation looking for the way clear, and wider out as Lord Revenue, Prince Salieri, but Ivory Way still in front of Royal Creation. Let's Elope down the outside, Royal Creation and Ivory Way from Let's Elope. It's Royal Creation, Ivory Way and Let's Elope. They hit the line photo. Let's Elope on the outside perhaps.
The Turnbull win was a great cup trial. But the Caulfield Cup win left some questions unanswered. She won the race, but only just. And she would have to carry an extra 3 kilograms if she was to become the first mare since Light Fingers to claim the double. She'd have to do what even the great Leilani couldn't. If there was any question about her Melbourne Cup chances, though, the McKinnon Stakes seemed to provide all the answers. Superimpose, Stylish Century, and the Cox Plate winner Surface Paradise were among a class weight-for-age field.
And at the 200-metre mark, she's dashed to the front. Superimpose coming out after him. Surface can't go on. Let's Elope in front of Superimpose, and Let's Elope will win it by a length and a half to Superimpose second.
Only the nature of the Melbourne Cup itself, in which every horse has some support, prevented Let's Elope from starting an unbackable favourite.
And here comes Let's Elope on the outside. Shiva's Revenge is bullocking his way through the back and then moves. 400 metres left to go. Ivory Way in front, being joined by the stablemates Rashik and El Meheb. Down the outside, Let's Elope. Here, Superimpose, followed by Castletown. Shiva's Revenge. Let's Elope hit the front of the cup. 300 metres to run. Ivory Way battling back, then Superimpose and Shiva's Revenge late. But Let's Elope has burst away, and the Foster's Melbourne Cup belongs to the mare. Let's Elope bolts the cup in, wins by 3 lengths, and it's a Cummings Quinella. Shiva's Revenge got second, close up on the inside, Magnolia Hall.
There's no doubt he should have won Shiva's Revenge. Like I said, I was bolting at the 500 metres looking to get out, and I got out. She came up and around and pushed me back in. And Stephen King got a couple of months for it, I think. And the amount of ground I took off her the last furlong was incredible. And he really hit the line, and Bart didn't want me to protest when I hopped off. And of course I wanted to, and I wasn't going to, and I was, and you know, I've got 30 seconds to make my mind up by the time I popped off the horse to hop on the scars. Hopped off the scars, and I said, no, I'll protest. And I still believe he should have got the protest, but of course it was a Melbourne Cup, and it's very hard to overturn Melbourne Cups when you've got beat by 2 or 3 lengths.
The Grand Mare had earned a break. She'd proven herself a champion stayer with 4 straight wins. But Bart Cummings knew she could prove herself a champion over all distances. She had the will to win.
Given on a dry track, I'd say she was. Leilani was very good and light fingers, but they could handle both. But on a dry track, I think Let's Elope was unbeatable.
But still Campaign King by 2.5, Dr. Grace. Prince Elieri now, and here's Let's Elope starting to wind up strongly at the 200. Campaign King is grabbed by Prince Elieri, and now Let's Elope is coming home. Prince Elieri via neck. Let's Elope with big bounces coming after him. Let's Elope and Prince Elieri. Prince Elieri has his nose in front. She bobbed the mare. Dr. Grace still, and Chavano misfighting it out from Let's Elope, who has to find something with courage on the outside. Still Dr. Grace in front. Let's Elope tries hard. She's coming home. She'll get there again. Let's Elope right on the post. Nailed Dr. Grace. Another courageous win at the 400-metre mark now. And it's Prince Elieri racing up to the lead. Shiva's Revenge a length and a half behind. And here comes the big mare. Let's Elope is winding up powerfully. She's racing up on the outside to Prince Elieri. Shiva's Revenge in the centre is not as good as this mare. No way. She's racing away. The champion mare's racing clear. Let's Elope from Shiva's Revenge. And Let's Elope dominates the Australian Cup and wins it by 3.5.
The mare had her problems from that point, but she'd clearly established herself as a champion with 7 straight wins against the best horses in the land, under all conditions from 1400 to 3200 metres. After a string of outs brought about by continued suspensory problems, Let's Elope had one great Australian win left in her, against one great horse.
The match race was organised by Let's Elope and David Hayes, who's better loosen up, and the VATC committee agreed to run the match race at Caulfield, and it created tremendous interest. And my jockey, I've forgotten, was suspended, I believe, at the time. Anyway, Mick Tippin was available, and I gave him the ride, and he duly won.
It looks to be Let's Elope going a little bit better than Better Loosen Up at the 200-metre mark, but the champion's fighting back on the rail. Let's Elope about a neck in front of Better Loosen Up. He won't let the mare get too far in front, but she'll be too good in the run home. And Let's Elope wins it by a length and a half to Better Loosen Up. A great challenge between 2 great racehorses.
It's history now that Let's Elope was second over the line behind the great Superimpose in the 92 Cox Plate, only to be relegated to 5th in the roughest ever running of that race. She was pulled out of the Melbourne Cup late on race day, before going into the Japan Cup short on preparation, and still managing a remarkable 7th to Tokai Teo. Let's Elope would finish her career in the United States, and while she never reached the heights of the spring of 91 or the autumn of 92, she won 1 of her 6 starts, finishing 3rd on 3 other occasions, and earned a further $300,000, taking her career to 11 wins from 26 starts and $3.3 million in prize money. Let's Elope was retired to Kentucky, where her matings with Danzig and Stormcat produced foals with outstanding conformation. She returned to Australia in 1998.